Hey there, how's it going, folks? Good afternoon. It is the Earthmaster out here on this Tuesday, July 16th, 2024. It's about 12:22 p.m. here, California time. There's going to be another hot one out here. Latest activity here on the Earthquake 3D globe shows a 4.3 earthquake. In the red flag out here somewhere, hiding in the mix. Goodness. Also got a green flag out here, a little earthquake in the Middle America Trench. Why can't I see the red one? Interesting. It's out here somewhere, more than likely about 50 kilometers deep, so possibly down here across South America. But yeah, I've not seen it. That's odd. Unless my mind is playing tricks on me here. Notice over here across the area of the Vanuatu area, finally got a little bit of earthquake movement this morning with a 5.0. Unfortunately, this is still deep earthquake activity here in this region. All this deeper activity recently, back building over here against the Tonga Trench, is leading me to believe that there's going to be something larger scale about ready to take place here today, or soon, very soon. Again, this is the only earthquake we've seen in the last week or so in this area. If we pull up the last 7 days of earthquake activity, looks like there was a 4.9 here 2 days ago. Another deep one, but technically speaking, far as seismic activity goes, this is still very quiet. Deeper activity obviously leading to some potentially larger quake activity upstream in some of these regions. So continue to watch this area around Solomon Islands, Vanuatu area for some further large-scale potential. Up into the Japan area, looks like they had a 4.4 earlier this morning. 71 kilometers deep here into this Japan Trench. Previous earthquake there, 4.7, 25 kilometers deep. So a little bit of back and forth of depth here between these earthquakes. One shallow earthquake from late last night, 5.2. So a little bit of adjustment taking place here across this area of the Pacific Plate and the boundaries here. Into the Alaska area. Handful of smaller quakes. The latest one looks like a 3.7 up here across the Aleutian Trench here near the Rat Islands area. That coming in about 71 kilometers deep there. Aside from that, very typical movement up there across the state of Alaska. Nothing major going on here across the Cascadia for now. There's those two earthquakes from last night into the southern end of the Cascadia subduction zone. A couple small quakes there. Northern California, we got some movement underneath the Lake Almanor area again. Early this morning, a 2.2 and a 2.3, literally within minutes of each other here. This region has seen some off and on earthquake activity here over the last few months. But just a couple smaller quakes there now. Around the Bay Area, looks like outside of the Richmond area, 1.5 coming in. Off of the... it's not the plate boundary here. Looks like maybe a little separate fault system that sits in between there. Not for sure if it's a Hayward fault, but pretty close to it. And looks a little bit more active down here along the Calaveras fault zone as well. Got a little bit of earthquake activity, including a couple threes coming in literally within minutes of each other. Very similar to what we've seen up here, right? Across the Lake Almanor region. Moments. It's a little odd to see, right? So this is about 1 o'clock in the morning there, 1:42 or so, and then up north we had this activity about 6 o'clock, so a little bit later. Interesting to watch those earthquakes within minutes of each other. Still a little bit of a smaller microquake activity up and down the plate boundary here, the San Andreas Fault. Southern California, let's see, one earthquake here on the Garlock Fault shear zone. A little 1.4, fairly shallow. And getting a little bit of activity down here on the southern branch of the San Andreas Fault earlier this morning. Surprisingly, about 6 o'clock or so. Same time as those earthquakes up north for a 1.6. Let's see if we got anything above 2.5 here. Another 2.7 here in the Borrego Springs area this morning about 8 o'clock. So slight uptick going on out here across the West Coast, California specifically. Not a whole lot throughout Washington. Into the Yellowstone area, nothing going on here. Got a Little 1.9, it looks like, just after midnight. So let's go see what's going on here on this fine Tuesday. If they're working. I don't even know if they're up. They may be offline. I don't think it's me. No, we're still up and running. There we go. Took them a little minute. There's that 1.9. Pretty visible, right? Fairly visible out here around the Maple Creek area. That's going to be the 1.9 just after 12:30 or 1:30 in the morning or so. Where'd my quick map go? There we go. There's that 1.9. That looks like there's a handful of smaller quakes in there as well. This movement here near Little West Thumb. Boy, this site is awfully slow today. Looks like there's a little bit of earthquake activity around this station as well. I know last night we were wondering what this noise was, kicking up on here. But looks like maybe a little bit of earthquake activity out here, specifically around the Little West Thumb region. But nothing big. Very small microquakes. I don't really see anything of major concern at all right now across that super volcano. Sounds a little scary, right? Super volcano. And one day it will be a little scary. That's for sure. Or a lot scary. But I don't think it's happening anytime soon. Oklahoma, Texas, the latest one, 2.6 out here in the oil fields outside of Pecos, Texas. And the rest of the country, pretty quiet. You guys hear about that dam failure out here in Illinois area? Well, around Nashville, Illinois, I believe, which is not related or which is not associated with that earthquake that struck out here yesterday. This earthquake, this 3.4, was way up north, the Illinois area further down south, or the Nashville area further down south. But they got a lot of rain out here. And if I remember right, that same dam had some issues a couple years ago. So yeah, it's all over the Twitter or the X.com site, formerly Twitter, and I believe that's happening. I've seen quite a bit of floodwater going on out there right now due to that failure of the Nashville City Reservoir. Pretty crazy, but not associated with the earthquake, associated with all the rainfall. All right, what else we got here? Hawaii got a little bit of activity stirring up here out around the Kilauea volcano again. Today, a little bit leaning more towards the southeast area, up around the Upper East Rift Zone. Quite a bit of earthquake activity there today. So let's go see what's going on there. Eventually, we're going to wake up one of these days to that volcano being active once again in terms of eruption. Check out this seismograph station here. Oh yeah, kicking up quite nicely. If you look here at this graph, the seismograph station is recorded over the last 12 hours. It definitely has picked up a little bit more since last night. Getting a lot more spiky activity. I call this, it almost looks like brittle rock breaking, like very sharp cracking going on there of the ground, specifically around this area here. There's nothing going on yet at the surface levels. This update, or this video picture put out today, it looks like early this morning, Hawaii time. Nothing going on as far as surface activities go, and I don't think we got anything going on up here across the caldera or the lava lake area either. Looks pretty quiet. Not a whole lot of volcanic gases out there. I'm a little up in the air on where we're going to see the next eruption. Been watching it. I was pretty certain here that we'd see it up here across the Upper East Rift Zone. But now we're getting a little bit of further activity here in the last couple days, just south of the lava lake area. I don't think we're going to see it up here. Potentially we could see some fissure activity break through around this area. One of these two spots. If not that, then we're going to see a fairly large magma intrusion off to the East Rift Zone here. But still, just watching things right now. It's at a breaking point, so to speak, and we're getting up there. Look at this. We're still up there in terms of inflation. This is the past 2 days, past week, past month. If you go back the last year, way up there. Except for a little bit of droppage there in certain eruption scenarios there from earlier this year and throughout the last few years, right? But the overall trend here in the last 5 years, look at that. We are going just up and up and up. No stopping it. So things are going to get busy soon. There's that deep activity once again around the Tonga area. New Zealand seeing a little bit of activity out here, 3.1 and a 4-pointer just off the North Island coast. So let's see what's going on down in the New Zealand area. 2.6 about 25 minutes ago being felt. These are just the felt reports. Let's see if I can find that 4-pointer. There it is. It looks like it's just off the North Island coast area. .2 is what they have it here about an hour ago. 76 kilometers deep at the it's going to be either the northern end of the Hikurangi or the extreme southern end of the Kermadec Trench. More than likely it's this little area right here. It doesn't seem like we've seen a whole lot of larger scale adjustment taking place here recently with all these deep quakes. I believe something's building up underneath this area. Later tonight we'll check out, see how much deep activity has been in this region over the last couple months. You've got to think about all the strain that's building up here across the Hikurangi subduction zone, which is another major area for a large earthquake potential. Middle America Trench, fairly quiet. One earthquake here up north of there, 4.8 in the Mexico area. About 7:30 this morning. 2.2 in Hawaii right now. The Atlantic Ocean, pretty quiet. Got one earthquake way down south here, 4.8. See USGS reporting this earthquake. They are well south of South Africa early this morning, about 1 o'clock or so. Also an earthquake out here in the close to the rift boundary. 4.6 in the Kenya region from last night. So we'll just kind of watch things, see how they go today. A little unsettled out there. Earlier, we did see another X flare, it looks like earlier this morning, popping off here to an X 2.0 to be exact. X 1.9 it shows right here. But let's see here. It almost looks like it peaked out around X 2.0. Here it's shown X 1.9. Either way, a fairly decent size X flare, right? And that's from departing sunspot AR 3738, which is way out there on the western limb now. Don't think we're going to be able to get anything that's going to be geo-effective there from that sunspot due to the position of it. We'll put this into motion. Watch this area right here. Those were a couple other stronger flares over the last couple days there in the M flare department. X flare should be coming up here soon. Right there. That was a beautiful shot of an X flare. Let's put this baby into motion. See, we just, all right. Oh man, that's beautiful. Unfortunately, with that position right there, not going to be geo-effective. It's way out there on the western limb. Not going to produce anything significant here on Earth in terms of CME activity or any elevated auroras. But it's a decent shot there. Definitely a beautiful shot of that X flare. Looks like a coronal mass ejection is now visible and should be mostly directed away from Earth. Yeah, with that position, no doubt. No major auroras in the forecast here. Overall threat still remains elevated for X flare at 15%, C flare at 65, or M flare at 65, and C flare around 99% chance or so. and look at the complexity of the magnetic cores here. There's our 3738, no longer going to be a threat, and we're left with a whole lot of disorganized areas. I'm still watching this region right about here, getting a little bit of development, a little bit of complexity here within that core, maybe a couple up here as well, but that one's going to be an active region. Obviously, it's produced a number of X flares and M flares here recently, but again, it's way out there on the western limb, not going to be an issue here. So we'll keep an eye there on 3751. That's about the only one really of any interest right now. All right, Storm Prediction Center got a little bit of severe weather out here today, mostly in the northeast up here. An enhanced zone for tornado potential up there across areas of New York and even a little bit back here in Nebraska. So, yeah, a little bit. Wind and hail threats appear to be out there as well across those regions. As far as anything cooking out there in the tropics, still got this disturbance out here with a 40% chance of some cyclone formation here in the next 48 hours. Going to be a decent band or a decent area of low pressure. I'm going to watch that pretty closely and see if it develops into anything of noteworthy interest. Just seeing if anybody's picking up on it yet. May not show up on this one, but anyway, hope everyone has a good Tuesday out there. It's supposed to be hot out here in California. You know, it's only supposed to be about 100, all right? For the last couple weeks here, we've been at 110, 115. I'm sure you guys have heard about it. It's been absolutely horrid, and next couple days only supposed to be around 100, but we're looking at another major heat spell coming here into the California area, where we're going to put us back up there around 110 or so. And it's one of the hottest summers that I can ever remember. 2008 was pretty hot, but I just don't remember it being persistently intense like this. And I've lived out here for the majority of my life. I'm a little bit tired of it. I kind of want to live somewhere where, you know, yeah, it gets up in the upper 80s, upper 90s, you know, and a little warm. But you get cooled down. You know, it's not a persistent heat spell. I don't know. I like Nebraska, South Dakota, maybe Wyoming. I'm kind of watching this area closely here for maybe some relocation. I don't want to go too far down south because I know Texas cooks, Oklahoma cooks. I want to experience the 4 seasons, right? Earth has 4 seasons due to the tilt that it goes through, and I want to experience that. I mean, yes, we get rain in California, but yeah, I don't know. I'm just tired of it. It really is a drag, you know, to have just consistent heat. There's only a couple certain ways you can beat the heat. You can't beat the electric bill though. Mine came in here yesterday, and I am astounded how high it was. But I have to stay cool. We have to keep the kids cool. It was way up there. I'm not going to say how much it was, but man, California has some of the highest electricity rates out here as well. Couple fires going on. Got the Shelley fire up here at 5% containment just outside of the Redding area. Well, Redding's way down south here. This is in the wilderness. Klamath National Forest sitting up here just burning away. Not a whole lot of communities up here. I'm sure there's some some cabins and whatnot, but this has just been burning for quite a while. Only 5% containment at over 15,000 acres. Looks like a couple new fires up here. Got a rim fire. Some of these may be caused by lightning here recently with this dry lightning event. Looks like a little bit over here as well due to Yeah, so a couple new fires out here in Northern California. Southern California still has a couple big ones burning as well. The lake fire out here. Dang, look at that. Almost 40,000 acres burned there. 38% containment with that off of 101. And we still got, unfortunately, I don't like to remind myself that, but we still got a lot of summer left, unfortunately. The rest of July, August, and September can be super hot out here as well. It's not, maybe October, November we start cooling down into the 70s and 80s, but I'm ready for a vacation somewhere cool. Somewhere cool would be nice. All right, folks, I'm out of here. We'll be off here on the side, just kind of monitoring things today, and really probably not going to go outside. Just take care of some stuff here around the house and just relax a little bit. Have yourself a good Tuesday. Stay safe out there, and we will chat you guys a little bit later on this evening.